All right, guys, I hope you are all well. As I said last week, we will be starting off our GST presentation, um, which effectively means that this is your third assessment task. So you did the portfolio in the first topic, so income, budgeting, net worth. In the second topic, insurance, you wrote a report. And this is the third topic, a GST presentation. Very, very similar to what you have done last week. And if you have completed the GST task from the first week of term, you also will have actually achieved a lot of these questions already anyway, okay? As I said, today's class, I am not going to be on WebEx or really even Zuno, unfortunately. The Year 12 celebration day is today, so that is where I will be. But of course, if you send me a message on Zuno or contact me, I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, so the task today, this one is available on Google Classroom under tax assessment task or major assessment task. It is a GST presentation, as I have just previously said. So using the knowledge that you have learned over the past topic, you will need to create a presentation that addresses key information about GST. As I said, if you have completed the I think it was 3.10 GST activity, a lot of these questions were already in there, okay? All right, so prepare a presentation explaining what the GST is, when it was introduced by the government and why, what the current rate of GST is, who pays it and who doesn't, what goods and services it applies to, including pictures, what goods and services are exempt, so what don't have GST attached, again, including pictures, what is the impact of the GST on the final prices paid, explanations of how it is calculated, and actually give me an example. So how do we work out how much GST you have paid when you pay the final price for goods and services? And how do you work out the amount of GST available when you're given the pre-GST prices? Remember, it is different for each, okay, in terms of if you're timesing or dividing. Hopefully you guys remember what I said and when you've done a bit of research on that. So when I say that it's a presentation, you're not actually going to be verbally presenting it. It really is just sort of a poster or a PowerPoint presentation to get each of these messages across, okay? The other thing you need to know is it needs to be using terminology that would be applicable and that your year level would understand, okay? So if you include a really big word or a word that maybe we haven't talked about throughout this topic, that's when I'll start to question whether or not it is relevant. The other thing, you really, really need to be making sure that it is in your own words. Unfortunately, throughout this semester, there has been quite a bit of plagiarism in this class. If there is any, and I will put the plagiarism check on, you will just fail. Okay, you need to please make sure that you are changing every single paragraph into your own words. Okay, of course, there are going to be parts where you can't change every single word into your own, but you need to make sure as a whole that a sentence has been altered to make it your own. Okay. All right, the presentation component, you can present it however you like, okay? If you want to do it in a Google Doc, that's probably going to be the most plain way that you can present it, and it probably won't be as interesting to read, so you wouldn't get any marks for your presentation itself. The key point is that it needs to be engaging, all right, to your age group. So I can't imagine many of you are going to sit there and be like, yeah, I love reading a Google Doc, all right, or a Word doc. So try to think about ways that you can make it a little bit more interesting. So Google Slides, PowerPoint, Keynote are all really easy options. An infographic, so effectively a page that has images that flows in a really nice way with really quick, short, sharp information bits in there, if you will. A brochure, poster. So there are lots of applications and websites that you can access in order to create something like that as well. Okay. And the last part. So each question or component, so you'll see up here, there is a total of 10, is worth about 10%. Obviously, for some, they're going to be weighted a little bit differently. So what the GST is, when it was introduced and why, they are ones that are going to take up a little bit more space, I suppose, whereas the current rate of GST, as we should all know, is just 10%, okay? You're obviously not going to be able to add a heap more to that. Yeah, so just weight it accordingly. And just remember, you are also going to be assessed on the actual presentation itself. Okay, so the more interesting it is, the better presentation marks you can get, as well as your spelling, grammar, and your subheadings, headings, the way it actually reads as well. Okay, so really, when I say marking allocation, each question or component is going to be worth 10% of the overall mark, but it is going to be marked holistically. Okay, so the more detail, I suppose, that you add, the better the presentation looks, the format of it, how easy it is to read, is all going to contribute to the overall grade. Okay. So this third assessment task, we should be doing probably one more when we get back to school. So each of these assessment tasks are going to be worth about 25% each to your final grade. So please make sure you are putting in the effort that I know all of you are capable of. All right, guys, I will see you soon.